Hi guys, and welcome to this other video. So today in this video we are going to do the following tasks. So in the previous video we talk about FortiGate security profile. So we saw these objectives. We saw the different between different inspection modes and inspection method. We talk about the inbound and outbound direction for the security profile. We saw some commonly used security profile and how they impact on our network. We talk about applicable actions, and we also talk about some key concepts and features. So if you did not, if not just seen the video, we have the link here in the comment section or description of this on this other video. So in the previous video, we also saw this task one where we did some of the following actions. So in this other video, we are going to start with task 2, antivirus. We'll see how to download the test malware file from the ECA website. We'll also see how to send and how to prevent sending of email with an exe file as attachment on the email. After that, we'll go on task 3. We'll do web content filtering, DNS filtering. Then we'll do a check to understand the difference between the web content filtering and the DNS filtering, because both of them sometimes they look the same and sometimes people don't really know on which of the security profiles should they do the settings like blocking or preventing some content. Then if we have much time, we'll continue with task 5 and 6, 7 and the other tasks that we have here. So here on our FortiGate device, on our firewall policy, the same firewall policy we have been using in the previous videos. So here we'll go under security profile, then we'll select antivirus here. Then we'll take the default profile that is here, we'll hit edit. So from here, what we are going to do, antivirus scan will block, we'll stay in the flow-based mode. So here you have the different protocols on which antivirus profile will apply if there is any malware on the following protocols. So here what we are going to do is we are going to enable this checkbox here which says trade Windows executables in email attachment as viruses. So I'll hit this one. I'll also quarantine here as well. So if there's any virus, we can quarantine. The virus outbreak prevention here will also enable use the FortiGate outbreak prevention database. So this is the database that has the latest information about the current state of viruses on the internet, right? So it is good to use this database so that we can prevent our network from accessing or for downloading any file that is already known as being malware from FortiGate. So I'll hit block here. So from here, all is good so far. So I'll hit OK. Then next, remember, as we are talking about antivirus, we need to select the SSL inspection method that I would like to use here is going to be deep inspection, because I would like to provide FortiGate to decrypt and search the content of the file that we are downloading to check if there is any malware, any virus embedded in the file. So it is preferable to use deep encryption here when you are using anti-malware, antivirus profile here. So I'm going with deep inspection here. So I'll hit OK. Okay, then now I'll jump on my test workstation. So here on our test workstation here, I'm launching my browser. So I'll go directly on the ECA website. ECA website. So remember, in the previous videos, we also talk about this website. So ECA website is the website where you can try to download a test malware file. So you click here on download anti-malware test file. So just click here. So here, if you are implementing security strategies or policies on your infra, and you want to see what are going to be the message that your end user will receive if ever they download any file that contains malware, you can try simulating it on this website. So from here, you just go below, and from here you will see the download area. So from here you can select one of the following files and try to download. If there is a policy on your network that is supposed to block the download, then you will see the error message. So let's try with the aka.com.zip file here. So I'll hit download. Okay, so you can see directly from here you have the FortiGate error message that it's mentioning high security alert. So this URL is being blocked and quarantine. So quarantine file name, no quarantine, deleted. So the file was deleted already. As soon as FortiGate detect that there was a malware in the file, it deletes the file already. So that's how our anti-malware, so that's how our antivirus profile works when you are downloading. If any user goes on a website and download any file that contains a virus or a malware, So we use deep inspection. Remember, we use deep inspection here to make sure that when the file is downloaded, it is fully decrypted to check if there is malware embedded. Because if you go with SSL certificate inspection, you might download any file that has a virus without the inspection checking the content. So right, so that's why we need to use deep inspection here. So that's it. Let's jump on the second task. The second task here is to send email. Okay. So here I'm under my Gmail account. So what I'm going to do here, I'm still on the testing workstation. So I'll try to send an email. So we don't need to provide the recipient or object. I'll go directly on attach a file. So here I'll go on my workstation, then I'll just take any .exe file. This file is anydex.exe. Okay. So let's say I want to send any anydex.exe to somebody. So on the network, you see we have this error message which says blocked for security reasons. So this being blocked for by our FortiGate antivirus profile. So if I try to attach another extension, let's say desktop, if I try to send a this certificate, which is .set, okay. So any .set, okay, you see I send .set. We have no error message here. If I try another, maybe this this Firefox.exe, so try uploading Firefox.exe. So everything that is .exe will be blocked for security reason by our FortiGate antivirus policy, and anything that is not .exe, we can attach it on email and send. So this completes our task 2. So now let's jump on task 3, which is web content filtering. So here I will jump directly on security profiles, web filters. So here on web filter, I'm still going to use the default web filter here. So I'll do edit. So from here, in the previous video where we talk about some actions that can be applied on categories or a specific content, we were already here on web filter content where we saw how to allow, block, display warning, and to require authentication for users to access a specific website. So today in this task 3, what we are going to do, we say blocking a specific category, blocking a specific website, and blocking a specific search content. So here we are going to start with blocking a specific category. So let's say, for example, I will still take our category about education. So here are the categories. So you know, on the internet, when all the websites that we access on the all the websites that we access on the internet are categorized in a specific, are being classified in a specific category by all security devices, either it being FortiGate, Cisco, or any other branch. So they have their team that does the categorization. So here I'm going to go with education. Let's say, for example, I'm blocking anything that is under education. So we'll try blocking this category. I hit block here. I'll hit OK. So now I just go on the security or the firewall policy here. So from here, what I'm going to do is just go below. We are not more using antivirus. Now we are in the web filter, default web filter, SSL inspection still. Hit OK. So here I'm going on my my test environment again. So from here, I will try to access any website like maybe Coursera, things.org. Okay, Coursera.org. Okay. So you see, immediately you have the block message. So this category is being this website belongs to a category that is being blocked. So either it being Coursera, Udemy, Udemy, or even Pluralsight. I think is also a way. Yes, Pluralsight is also an education website. So anything that's under education will be blocked. So this is a category being blocked. So now let's proceed with blocking a specific website. So still in the web content web filter. So here, instead of blocking the entire category, because for some reason you might not want to block the entire category. So here, for example, we'll say, okay, we want to allow this category. So we are allowing this category, but what we are going to do is we are blocking a specific website under this category. For example, I'll come here and go under URL filter. So I'll enable this. Then from here, I'll create a new object. So I'll just set here udemy.com. So let me just hit like a star here and star. So I'll say wildcard. No, not good. Okay, let's go with simple expression. Udemy.com, simple expression. Udemy.com, simple expression. So what we are going to do, type. So as we said, we have another video we have another task here, task 7, where we'll talk about simple, regular expression, and wildcard. So from here now, actually from this time, what we're going to go with is simple. So we'll talk of these other types in that other task. So here what we are going to do with allow is we are going to do with the my website is to block. So here under action, instead of exam, allow, or monitor, we are going to block. Then we are enabling this filter. So I hit OK. So here education website is allowed, but this specific website under education website is being blocked. So when we hit here, we say OK. Okay, then we hit OK again. So now we'll jump on our workstation, our testing workstation again. So normally, if I hit plural site, if I refresh the website, normally we should get access now again, because we actually allowed content from this content from education website to be displayed, to be shown. So now we are going to try now with the Udemy. So let's say Udemy. Okay, udemy.com, select. Okay, so you see now that this website, this specific website, is being blocked by our web filtering profile. So you see the category is education, the category is being allowed, but for this specific website you just do the blocking. So that's the same way how you proceed if you want to block any other website. It must not be member of a category that we allow specifically. You can decide any website, just select the website, then you hit maybe block or allow or exempt. So what we are going to do here, another task that we needed to do was to block, okay, to block specific search content. So what I mean here by specific search content is that, for example, in your network, you don't want maybe your users in your network to do searches related to some specific search content. Let me say, for example, if you don't want your users to search anything related to torrent, or anything like downloading or searching any type of content that is related to downloaded heavy or huge file on your on your network. So here what we are going to do, for example, is to block anything related to the content, or the content name torrent. So we're going to block any search that is related to torrent. So here on our firewall, what we are going to do here now is we are not under URL filter. This time we are under content filter. So here what we are going to do is enable content filter here. And what we are going to do, we are creating new. So here when you are blocking a specific content, you are either in wildcard or regular expression. As we say, we'll explain about this in task 7. So here, for example, what I want to block is anything that contain any search that contain the word torrent. Okay, torrent. So you should notice here that we can also block this, we can have an action on this depending on the language. So here, depending on the FortiOS version on which you are running, you're actually running, you might see different languages. But for me, for now, for the FortiOS version, I'm running 7.2.13, the latest of 7.2.x. So here you have the following languages. So you mean that the expression that the pattern that you put here, depending on the language that you select, it is only if the web browser is on these languages, that only if the web browser that the content is being searched is under this language, that is where the action that you define here will be applied. So for me, for example, I'll left it here on Western. I'll block this search content, this search pattern, then I'll enable this filter. So I hit OK. Okay, so now that we have defined the pattern type as wildcard, the pattern is torrent, language is Western. Western is the default, this English. So an action is blocked and enabled. So now the next thing that we need to do here is here under SSL inspection mode. Remember that we are going to inspect the content to make sure that any content that contains the word torrent is being blocked. So here, to make it work better, or to make it to work better, is to select this time deep inspection mode instead of certificate inspection mode, because remember in the video that we did concerning the difference between certificate inspection and deep inspection, it is only when you select deep inspection that the content of a specific traffic will be decrypted to search the content to make sure the information that is in the content contains maybe the word or the pattern that we are actually searching, right? So here what we are going to do is use deep inspection instead of certificate inspection. So I'll click here, deep inspection. So deep inspection because, as I said, deep inspection because blocking a website using SSL certificate inspection is sufficient to block the website. But when it comes to blocking content, it is better to use deep inspection. So let's go with this. You can try this in your environment and you will see if it works if you are in SSL inspection. But for what I know, deep inspection works better on this specific content filtering. So let's jump here in our test environment. And here, what we are going to do is from here we are just going to search like torrent. So just hit torrent to see if it will display any information. So you see it's taking too much time to display. You can also search it directly from here, taking like torrent. You will see it will take a lot of time, but it will not even display the information. So remember, when you enable your security profile, sometimes it takes a few minutes for it to apply on your network. So sometimes you need to be patient and give some time for your certificate or your security configuration or setting to apply. You need to be patient, right? You need to be patient. Sometimes if you are not patient, you might go again and modify your configuration because you think it is not being applied. But the issue is that you are not giving a sufficient time for it to apply. So just give a few minutes and we'll check again. So we can also try another web browser. So here I'll go on this one, this Firefox. So if I select any website, actually I can go. If I go on YouTube, here it will display, so I have access to YouTube. So if I search any other content, like let me just search anything about World Cup, so I have the information that is displaying. Any search that I do, I display. But if I search anything like torrent, you see, you just do like this and will not provide any information. So either it being torrent or let me say movie with torrent download, anything like this. Any search that you will do that contains the word torrent, you will have no display. So if I just remove torrent from this search, so if I remove torrent from this search and hit enter, you see, we have information. But if I just add torrent in the search content, you see it starting going turning not displaying any information, right? So that's how you do if you want to block a specific pattern on your network. For this example, we'll go with torrent, but in your network you might have many other words, other expression, or any other information that you would like to block on your network. So you make sure that you just input that information in your FortiGate, and when any user on your workstation on your network will try to access that content, they will not have access to it. So that's how blocking specific search content or pattern, that's how it works. So make sure when you are doing this, you put the SSL inspection method to deep inspection rather than SSL certificate inspection. So good to know. So now let's jump on task 4, which is DNS. So here we are specifically doing like the same things like here, blocking specific DNS category, domain name, and redirect to block portal. So here on our firewall policy, this time let's go again, and what we are trying to do now is DNS filter. So I'll enable this one. Then I'll edit the default DNS object that is available. So in the DNS object here, you will see we have more than 79,000 domains that are actually being blocked or filtered by this policy or by this security object. So here we see the categories that are actually available. So we can do the same here with we can do the same here again with our this time let's go with a with a sport category. So here let me just block anything related to sport, or no, let's say social okay, social networking. Yeah, let's go with social networking. So here what we are going to do is, you see here under DNS filters, as we said in the previous video, each security profile has its own actions. So you see here, for example, on the DNS filter, the action that we have here is either you are allowing, you are monitoring, or you are redirecting to the block portal. So here what we are going to do, if you are blocking maybe social networking, all you are going to do is just redirect to the block portal. We're also going to try political organization. I don't really know political organization. Let's go with sports. Okay, so even sport, let's take sport and say redirect to block portal. Okay, so this is the first step. So we are blocking a specific domain or specific category. So here we don't need to go to be in deep inspection mode. So here we can go with certificate inspection. Remember that deep inspection mode consumes more resources than certificate inspection, right? So you should only use deep inspection if it is needed or it is required. So don't enable deep inspection when you are doing some traffic or some simple web-based or HTTPS traffic that can be controlled by certificate inspection. You hit OK. So now we'll jump on our test environment. So here I'll go on Google Chrome, any sport website. Let's go with FIFA. I guess it should be classified as a sport. So FIFA. Okay. So you can see now when I click on FIFA.com, it is redirecting me directly to a blog web page. So you have tried to access a web page which belongs to a category that is blocked. So this is blocked by our DNS filtering policy, right? So what do I know any other sport channel? Sport. Any popular non-sport channel? Maybe US sport. Let's just try this. Okay. So US sport advanced. Try to. So this is the warning message that you get. So when you try to go again further by trying to proceed, so keep proceed. We still see we are here. If I try it a second time, then I'm sent to the block page. So you see here we have Fortinet Secure DNS Service Portal. So this is the Fortinet Secure DNS Service Portal for block. When you redirect any DNS traffic to be blocked, is where you get the content. So here, so we block everything related to. We blocked everything related to sports. So maybe now what we can do, for example, is to yes, we block anything. Well, we do not try social networking, but it's going to be the same as we did with sport. So let's go directly here. We try to do blocking domain filter. So what we are going to do here, instead of blocking everything related to sports, we are going to do allow. And what we are going to do here, we are instead going to block. We are going to do a domain filter. So let's say I'm blocking like FIFA.com. Yeah, we'll be blocking FIFA.com, or you are in DNS, you don't have block here, you have instead redirect to block portal. So here, redirected to block portal, enable this, hit OK. Hit OK. So normally now what we're going to do is normally all sport channels websites should work fine, but only FIFA.com should fail, right? So hit OK. Then here OK again. So if I jump again on our test environment here, so normally this other website should work fine. So I'll try refresh. Okay, so when I refresh, we see it is displaying fine. So now let's go again on this FIFA website. So I'll try to refresh again. You see, instantly I refresh, so they already have the answer, right? So even refreshing, it is not changing any information here because this website is actually being blocked by the FortiGate DNS service. So that's how you proceed with blocking a specific DNS domain name. So I guess the last information or the other information that we need to do is redirect to specific blog portal. So as we saw in this DNS filtering, every information or every when you block a specific web page, this is the specific web page that is displayed. So here, if I go under my FortiGate, the DNS object here, you will see that below here we have this option here that mentions that redirect portal IP. So the web page that we are receiving, this web page, this is actually the default FortiGate web page that resides under this IP address. So it means if I take this IP address here, if I copy this IP address, then I go to open a new tab here and just paste this IP. So it should redirect me to the same page, right? So this is the default FortiGate page, redirect page where all DNS traffic that is considered as being redirected to portal, to block portal, is directed to this page. But you see here that it mention anything like specific or specify. Let me say specify. So here, if you have your own personal page where you want to redirect your users, instead of redirecting them directly to this page, you can also specify it here. So from here, you can specify what you need to provide. Here is IP address. So you need to provide the IP address of the page where you have maybe a specialized content for your company, right? So this is where you provide that IP. But you need to make sure this IP is a public IP, not a private IP. So if you put a private IP of your company here, it might not work. You need to provide a publicly accessible IP address, right? So we talk about redirecting portal. I think we have another another task here which talks about where we discuss about redirecting portal. Here we see a lot of settings that we can do to redirect users traffic to a specific portal. So here the other thing we needed to talk about DNS filtering is to understand the differences between the DNS filtering and the web content filtering. As you can see, what we did so far was like from the web content, for the web content filtering and the DNS content, we could block a specific category, we could block a specific website, right? So you might be asking yourself, what is the main difference? What is the difference between the web content and the DNS content? In other way, like, is it better to block a website on the DNS filtering or blocking it of the web on the web content filtering? You might be asking yourself this question. So to show a main difference between these two, here you will go with the differences that I can specify, the key differences that I can provide to you guys about DNS filters and web filtering, because it is important to understand the two differences. So the key differences are that at the operational level, so you need to understand that the web content filtering inspect the URL path. Something to URL path here mean anything that you put in the URL search tab. So either it example.com slash any other information. So this is what web filtering would inspect, while DNS filtering works only at the domain level. So if you want to use DNS filter, you will only be filtering only the domain, but not the entire URL. So this first point, operational level. Second point is performance. So DNS filtering is faster than the web content filtering, because as it is limited only on the DNS, it means it will not consume a lot of resources to maybe block or apply the action that you decide on a specific content. So DNS filtering will be much faster. About the method, so web content acts on the HTTP and HTTPS traffic, while DNS intercept the DNS requests at the layer 3 and 4. So on the ISO model, web content will work at layer 7, while DNS work at layer 3 and 4. So layer 3 and 4 is where you are going to resolve IP addresses and the domain names, right? And talking about visibility, so web filters can identify specific content, whereas DNS filtering only see the requested domain. For example, you saw on the task that we are talking about, the task where we were talking about web filtering, we saw that we could do like filtering a specific content, a specific pattern. For example, we did about filtering torrent, anything related to torrent. We saw how to filter it from the web filters, but we could not do that on the DNS, right? Because DNS does not provide that level of filtering. So these are the main key differences that you need to understand. So best practices about this is that you should be using both to have a better security. So what you can do, for example, is to use DNS to filter and block non-malicious websites. Then use web filtering to provide a more granular control over permitted traffic. So that, as an example, you see, you can decide to allow site.com on the DNS filtering, but decide to block site.com slash videos on the web content filtering. So this is how you can use both of these security profiles to provide more granular or security, because take in consideration that DNS will be more faster, right? So if you want to block a specific website, it is better to block that specific website on the DNS. It will not be resource intensive on your FortiGate, as far as the DNS filter will see the domain name, immediately it will block the traffic. While if you want to block a specific or more granular content like a complete URL like example.com/page1/page2/ so you should ideally block that content instead on web filtering. So I just wanted to provide you guys these key differences, because sometimes people will be asking if where will it be more beneficial to block a specific content, either on the web content filtering or instead on the DNS filtering. So let's jump directly now to task 5, which is file filtering. So here what we're going to do is to block specific file extensions. So maybe on your network you might want to block users from downloading anything related to .iso, .exe, .tar, .tz, or any other extension, right? So let's jump directly on our FortiGate device to see how to deal with this one.